Here's John. Okay, we're back at it again. We are still going to add a little bit more. Basically, we're going to try to come up with some solutions to the supposed presumed police violence across America, the institutional racism that is abound in the police forces across the cities of America. I don't really agree with that. A lot of people do. So let's see here. What I am trying to do is, okay. So with regards to the Floyd death fatality for George Floyd passing a counterfeit $20 bill, like Eric Gardner selling cigarettes, and then there was Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray, half of the police officers that were charged were black. I think 2 were Hispanic and 1 white, but definitely 3 were black. The mayor was black, Obama was in office black, Eric Holder black. In this case, Floyd, only 1 officer was white. Thao, I believe he was of Asian descent. And then there was Thomas Lane, J. Alexander Cone, there was a Quam. Or it was J. Alexander Quam, which I believe is Vietnamese. Thomas Lane, I think, is, I think he was, he's officer is black, darker skin, maybe Arabic or something. And then also people were, this has been floated around that I think I heard people say this on these commentaries that the officer Chauvin had his hand in his pocket. From what I see, he didn't. He was wearing black gloves, so it's interesting that it looks like his hand's in his pocket. Now, I could be incorrect, but I don't see his hand in his pocket. I'll have to go back and look at the video on that again. I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to the video because it goes deeper than that. So, you know, some of the solutions here regarding this could be, number 1, why don't the wealthy black people, why do the rich black people leave their neighborhoods when after they become wealthy, whether it be in athletics, entertainment, education, they end up fleeing those neighborhoods. And a lot of it's the athletes. Why don't they continue to live there, support their communities, bring those dollars that they make into those communities? I'm wondering why they don't do that. It's like Liberia, the country of Liberia, when the Americans repatriated to Liberia because they thought it might be better. I'm just wondering why the successful black people that come from the downtrodden neighborhoods, why don't they just go back and live there? You know, build a nice home in the neighborhood, and then they could basically help flower the community and germinate it with some success stories rather than flee. They always seem to flee and then go to other neighborhoods that are remote and segregated from the so-called hood. I don't know why they do that. I think that would be a good thing for them to do. Also, what could be done is they could remove all of the white police officers that supposedly commit these unjust acts and just instill black officers. And if they think that the Latinos are unjust, because like I said, I think in the Freddie Gray was I think there were Latinos. I think in Eric Gardner there were Latinos, or the Abu Mai. I can't remember his last name. A couple of the other ones in New York, I believe that those cases, I believe they were Latino too. Let's see, to be specific here. Yeah, the Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, Abner Luima, all of those, I believe they had ethnic groups, multi-ethnic groups in those arrests as well. But to alleviate this, you could instill all black officers in black neighborhoods, and then you would never have this problem. But that's not going to happen. It's very segregated. That's never going to help racism, but it would sure prevent the presumption of racism, even though, again, in Freddie Gray, it was 3 black officers. And by the way, we know what happened with that case. They were all found not guilty. So let's continue not to jump to conclusion on this. And then lastly, again, we could forgive, we could resist, and we could repent from sin, from temptations. However, these officers do have a very difficult job. I would never want to do it. Their job's getting harder by the day, because you have people like the Minnesota mayor, Minneapolis mayor, who told the cops to stand down during the riots and the protests. De Blasio said use go light, touch light. And then finally, I think after 3 days of burning, he told them to go home and go to bed. These are not men of leadership. These are men that they go home and they wear skirts at night. You know what I mean? They're not men. They're not leaders. And this is why this behavior continues to happen. All these protests, cops are being abused all the time, the NYPD. Nobody wants to do this job anymore. So, I mean, are we going to go vigilante or what? What's happening here? Maybe all the black officers, they don't want to work in the black neighborhoods. Maybe so they get out, they go on a police force in a better neighborhood. It's kind of, again, like the businesses, supposedly that the Jews were bloodsuckers that have businesses in downtrodden black neighborhoods, or Koreans. Hey, they're in it to make a buck, but they're also providing a service. Nobody's forced to go to these operations. Just like the police officers, they're there to try to help people. And if you cut off their tools that they need to keep neighborhoods safe, these neighborhoods are not going to fare well. And if all these people that protest, I saw a lot of darker skin and very color variants in protests. I saw thousands. Why don't they join the police force? All the black people, all the Latinos, join the police force. If you want to make it better, be a part of it. Make it better. These are my solutions. So one, all the wealthy black people, the LeBron Jameses, the Beyonce, Jay-Z's, Lil Wayne's, rapper this, rapper that, rapper this, rapper that, the Terrell Owens, he's old school. Who's some of these bigger athletes nowadays? I don't even know, because I'm out of it. Pictures of, who is it? The Barry Bonds, after Barry Bonds, I don't know. All these super wealthy entertainers and athletes. Go into the hood, live there, invest your dollars. You could probably buy blocks. And you'd be doing a really good thing. You'd be actually, Kobe Bryant could have done that. He went to Newport Beach, LeBron James and Brentwood, D Wade, all these people, D Wade's wife, Gabrielle or whatever her name, all these people could do that and contribute, but they don't. They flee. And then they stand on their ivory towers above their, Olympic-sized swimming pools hanging off the side of hills, talking about what a racist society it is. Well, if you're not racist, then why aren't you living there? So that's one, that could help. Two, if you want to kind of repatriate black officers that are in other districts, precincts, cities, and they would be willing to do that, that could work. But they're not going to be willing to do it, because if they did, they would already be there. So the only real true solution is back to Jesus. That's the only way, and that's what he says. I am the way, the truth, the life. He's the life. All others, right? All others are, if Jesus is the way, all others are a dead end. All others are a lie. All others lead to death. And that's the problem. So again, these are kind of some brief solutions. They seem simple, but there is no solution. That's kind of my point. And that's why I throw out Jesus all the time. So he worked for me, and not even worked for me. He saved me from my sins that has caused all of this chaos, from COVID to Floyd, and then what does the next week have? This stuff's happening so fast, you can't keep up with it. You just can't. Every step you make, every night, every day, there's something new happening, and it's just moving at rocket speed. No pun intended. NASA, successful takeoff since 2011. Nobody ever did the space shuttle but Americans. We've had the most rocket launches, flights, rocket flights, missions with men aboard, and we're up there right now. I think we dropped off at the space station. We'll be up there for a couple months. Great success story. American lead the way, the great America. But all these people, a lot of negative people that just constantly want to bang on America. We're not perfect. Our borders are open. People are free to go to and fro. So let's try to make it better, and have a great week coming up. Have a great week. All right. Out.